Hey guys, I've got a little bit of a surprise. I made kind of a, well, I was going to say a spur of the moment purchase, but not really. I've been looking at this machine for, over a year. And I finally pulled the trigger on it, and I've swapped my forklift with my project tractor so I can get this out the door, which I'm going to need to do tomorrow afternoon. So plan to take you along for the ride, unloading. I think it's going to be about 600 pounds, so it's not real heavy. But we'll use the forklift to take it off the tractor trailer, bring it back to the shop, open it up, check it out, see what it looks like. So I'll see you tomorrow. We'll take a ride up the lane to the cul-de-sac where the tractor trailer can't go past. So, all right, we'll be back.
Come here. Yeah, my good puppies. You don't know what's going on, huh? Don't know what's going on here. Come here. So you don't know what's going on, huh? Don't know what's going on. All right, let me pick this up and put this on a couple of furniture dollies, huh? Let me do that. All right. No, Butchie, don't go out that way. Come on. You stay. Where are my furniture dollies? All right, come on. Close that door so they don't sneak out. Well, I forgot to turn the camera back on, but I got the crate on a couple of furniture dollies spanned with a couple 2x4s, so now I can at least move it around. This is a 12-inch jointer planer. Now I don't need a 12-inch planer because I have a 20-inch planer, but I do need a better joiner. So having a wide joiner is a benefit in milling lumber, especially raw lumber like what I have here and the pile that's underneath these tarps, which is probably as much, almost as much as what's stacked here on in the rack. Walnut and cherry lumber. It's all rough cut. It's been air dried for, well, probably 15 years, maybe longer, 20 years. This is something I've been looking at for 2 years, and Woodcraft had a big sale, free shipping, which would cost at least $500 anywhere else, and it was $1,000 more than that off. So it saved me a couple thousand over the normal purchase, and I was also looking at a hammer version of this machine, which was would have cost $3,000 more. So this was it turned out to be a good deal. So I pulled the trigger on it. Black Friday sale, and we'll open it up and see what it looks like. It's going to go over here where this joiner is. This is my 6-inch Delta joiner, and it served me well for 20 years. I've had it for 20 years, but it does limit what you can do in terms of flattening stock. So the new joiner will sit right here. Okay, we'll come back when we get a chance to open up the crate. It's interesting that this crate is actually screwed together. Looks pretty well packed. I'll show you. Looks like it's up on blocks. Got the fence. I don't know, it looks like it's fully assembled. All right, let me take some of these other panels off. figure out the best way to get this down on the floor. Well, I have a jib crane which is rated for 500 pounds, and that's what this is supposed to weigh. I think that's what I need to do, is I need to back the forklift out, roll this over, put some rig it, put some straps on it. Doesn't give any specific guidance on rigging that I can see. All right, we'll have to figure out how it's bolted to the skid because it's not clear. Looks like it might actually. All right, there is something constraining it. Oh, there's a bolt there. Bolt over here fell out or was never put in. There's the washer. All right, well, I found at least one bolt. It looks like there was only one. Yeah, okay. So there was only one bolt through the back left leg into the crate. And looked like a bolt missing here. There's a hole. There feels like a washer was scrunched into that hole. No hole here. So it looks like there were two bolts, but one of them's gone. Only one holding it in position. Okay. All right, I've rolled the unit over here underneath my davit crane. It's got a preservative cosmoline or something similar on the tables, both the planer table and the joiner table. All right, we'll have to get it. I have ordered a mobile stand, a mobile stand for this. It hasn't, I don't even know if it's shipped yet, but it's ordered. So I think I'm going to set it on the floor. We're going to put it where this joiner is, so I'm going to move this one out of the way. Not sure where the center of gravity is on this. I think the motor is over on this end here, but I don't know. I'm sure that doesn't. Alright, so that should be okay. That looks okay. Don't want to damage anything here. Alright, looks like it's It's incredible, the brake on this winch, is holding the entire weight of this tool. All right, so let's test something here. All right, so this is a scale. Now, I'm going to zero it out here. Actually, there's a tear, 0. All right, so that's the weight. Let's see. $100 kilograms. All right, there it is, completely off the floor. 209.6 kilograms. $209.6. I should change it to pounds. I need a remote control to do that. So we'll do a calculation here. 209.6 times 2.2 equals 461 pounds. £461. So that's, well, the net weight was supposed to be 500 pounds and the shipping weight 600 pounds. So I guess they were just being conservative. So 460 pounds. All right, let me see if I can maneuver this over to its working position here. That little jib crane handled it, no problem. And the best part about it is the brake on the winch. It held the weight of this machine, which is, I mean, without having a ratchet like you would on a boat winch. For example, you know how they have a ratchet pawl on a manual winch, and that's what holds the weight. This just has a brake, which is it's pretty cool. Being careful not to have the straps bend anything. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, this is sheet metal here. You know, I don't know whether it's tape. I guess it's probably tape around the bottom. It's taken some abuse. You can see down there the black tape around the bottom. It got shredded in loading, I believe. It'll be nice to get the mobile base, and what I'll wind up doing in the next, we're going to wrap up this little video shortly. I'm going to put a plug on it, plug it in, turn it on. We'll just consider this the unboxing video, and we'll come back shortly with a second, more in-depth video showing its operation and use. I do want to see about this, make sure I don't have interference with feeding anything. Well, I'll have a mobile base, so if I'm feeding anything wide on the table saw, it will clear that. Well, look at that. That's about perfect. There's about a 1/2 inch clearance. When I put this on the mobile base, I'm probably not going to have that clearance anymore. That's about where it's going to sit. All right, I'm going to get a plug on it. It's a 240 volt, 20 amp circuit. I actually have a 30 amp circuit feeding a couple of 240 volt outlets. I have 4 The issue is this is like a tool cluster here. I have 4 240 volt tools. I have this new joiner planer. I have my shaper here, bandsaw, and table saw, and they're all 240 volt. So I have a 30 amp circuit coming down into a distribution box with 4 20 amp plugs in it. I only run one machine at a time, so it's, no issue. I get a plug on this machine, we'll plug it in, turn it on, see if it works. A lot of people are concerned about 220 volt power circuits. Now, certainly there's a little more hazard involved with 220, 240 volt compared to 110. But a lot of, as you know, a lot of European countries use 200 plus volt as their normal household power, because you can, for the same amount of energy, you can use a smaller wire because your amperage is half. All right, let's see. If I do this, it's going to wind up sticking out. But these have nice brass sleeves crimped on them, so I don't want to cut them off. I want to use them, so I'm going to wind up taping this. Yeah, so they've crimped on nice brass sleeves over these wires, so that's pretty nice, I have to say. So I'm going to keep them, even though that puts the conductors there we go. So all the 220 volt plugs that are 3-wire just have 2 hots and a ground. You don't have a neutral. Now this is black and white, which normally you would associate with a 120 volt circuit, where this would be the neutral and this would be your hot. But this is a 240 volt machine, so these are both going to be hot. And I don't know why. It's typical to do this, and you should put a little piece of tape around here just to designate it as another hot lead. Be great if it were red and black, which would be a little more indicative of its actual voltage. But it doesn't matter which one you put where on these plugs, because both of these are equal in terms of voltage, and they're both hot. Now, I mean, they're out of phase 180 degrees, so that's why you don't need a neutral, because the power goes, alternating current has voltage goes up and down. Well, in these 2 wires, they're going in opposite directions. The voltage is going opposite directions, so they cancel each other out in effect. So the current flows back and forth between these 2. There's no neutral. Tighten them down good and tight. All right, so here's, if I don't do this, then these conductors are just going to show on the outside of the plug. It Kind of looks amateurish when you do that, but I would rather do this than lose those nice brass crimped on sleeves. All right, there's a little spring in here which is connected to this case, which contacts this little tab on the ground screw. So that kind of determines where this goes. Got to get all three of those screws in their respective holes. So you can see the outer jacket would be missing from, what, 1.5 inches of there. Those are Phillips only. So all this preservative needs to be cleaned off these tables. They say to use kerosene, paint thinner. This is, you know, a different fence, different blade guide. Now here comes the UPS truck. Okay, so it's spring loaded up. This is different safety guide than I'm used to, which is the old pork chop style. So before I can use this, I need to clean all this off, and I'll do that off camera. Okay. All right, first start, see what happens. That's not great. Oh, that's not plugged in. All right, give it a shot. All right, looks like it's running. So to change, I haven't read the book yet, but it looks like you lower the table. And since I'm not going to use this as a planer much, I don't think, the planer function is just extra for me since I have a 20-inch. This is a 12-inch. I have a 20-inch planer. Now the one thing this does have is the helical cutter head, which give you better finish in some circumstances. But my main desire for this is as a wide jointer. So okay. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up this uncrating episode for the JPJ12HH, Jet Planer Joiner 12-inch helical head. I love the model numbers. Anyway, it works so far. It looks okay. There's a more expensive model that I looked at, the Hammer machine, a couple $1,000s more. I think the difference is this has a single post that the bed rises up on, versus I think some of the other machines have 4 posts. My 20-inch planer has 4 posts that it rides up on. Of course, keeping those posts in sync is, can be a challenge, but for what my main purpose for this is the jointing capability. It's much smaller than a typical 20-inch or 12-inch joiner, which would be 8 feet long. So, and I guess it costs about the same. So that's the main thing. Plus, you do get the helical head capability, which gives you better results on highly figured lumber, like curly woods, like curly cherry or quilted mahogany or fiddleback, tiger stripe maple, bird's eye maple, things like that, where you have a lot of convoluted grain. The helical head's supposed to handle that a lot better than a straight knife planer. My 20-inch planer has straight knives. It's also easier should you hit a nail or something. Rotating a little cutter on this helical head takes care of that, or maybe 2 cutters. You got 4 faces on each little cutter, and you got, 50 cutters on the cutter head. On my 20-inch planer with straight knives, or any planer with straight knives, if you nick a knife, you're going to nick all 3 knives, or 4 knives, depending on how many you have. You can sometimes shift one knife left or right, a 1/16 of an inch, or depending on the machine. Shift the 2 sets of knives in opposite directions to offset the nick in the blades, so that that solves the problem. Otherwise, you're changing the blades and having them sharpened or reground, or you use a set of disposable blades. And I use disposable blades on my planer, so you really can't shift those. Anyway, I'll clean the oil, Cosmoline, or whatever it is, preservative, off of the tables here between now and the next time we come back and look at this. We'll plane some wood, see how it operates. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that little exercise. I did get to try out my little jib crane here, which worked great. It picked it up 460 pounds, something like that. So it had no problem picking it up. Okay, leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. And we'll see you guys next time.